Hey guys, this is Booligan with Airsoft Retreat, BooliganAirsoft.com and Airsoft Insider Magazine. You may remember this ASG TAC6, but you may not remember this. Today what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you guys how to convert your ASG TAC6 to either CO2 or HPA using the Advanced Novelty Tech CO2 adapter. We are going to go actually to the bench and we're going to install this thing live so you can see how hard it is really to install this kit. And after the install, we're going to go ahead and we're going to go do a quick shooting test using a 20-ounce can of unregulated CO2 at about 800 psi, if I remember correctly. So let's go ahead, get to the bench, see how this thing installs. Okay, let's go ahead and let's install the CO2 HPA adapter from Advanced Novelty Tech. You can see it consists of a few parts. This little filler piece here, which fills in for your CO2 capsule. This rubber seal at the bottom that pushes in and helps seal it up because it's pressed against this bolt, which is then located in the grip. And then finally your adapter, which screws on. Now this, I already installed this once, so we're going to go ahead and we'll just be running through it again. Very, very simple affair. You need a little bit of plumber's tape, a couple of screwdrivers, flathead screwdrivers, and then a pin. So let's go ahead. We're installing it on the ASG TAC6. Start taking off the magazine. We do have to make a modification to the magazine to get it down to its pure stick form, but we will do that. Actually, do you know what? We can go ahead and we can do that now. All you need to do, I have a punch somewhere, but it's gone missing, like any good tech. Take a tool of some sort. Tap that pin out, which of course now that I'm trying to do it on video is going to be a lot more difficult than it needs to be. Especially because I don't have the proper punch with me. Go. So you go ahead, push that pin out on the bottom, voila, take the base off, done. That's all the modification that you need to do the magazine. Easy peasy. Next what we need to do, we need to take out the existing dial setup that's in there. Now normally this has a spring on it. I didn't feel like reinstalling the spring. But all you need to do, again, take a punch, don't use a tool like I'm doing, and then you just push out this pin, which takes just a little bit of force. Push that out. This guy comes off, pin comes out, this spring comes out. Now, using your fingers, you can just screw that all the way in. It'll hit a point where it just kind of falls out. There you go. That falls out. Voila. That guy's removed. Don't need that anymore. So now you've got a big open compartment in there, and we're ready to install the kit. A little bit of prep on the kit first. You need to take the insert, press that in, make sure that that's in there flush. I have to rotate around just a little bit. There we go. And then I like to take just a little drop of lube. Around there. Now we'll get a good seal on that. Okay, set that aside for now. This is the trickiest part. You need to take the bolt. Now you see this bolt has a hole that goes all the way through it. The gas goes through this bolt. So what we need to do is we need to thread it from inside into the gun to give me a little bit more flexibility. Go ahead, we're going to have the barrel taken off. Okay, how I found the best way to do this. Take the bolt, insert it in, and then kind of hold it in place, pressured against the screw on your finger. Then take a small screwdriver there are small cuts on this to allow you to do this. And screw it to the left. You're unscrewing it from this angle. Now that you've got the threading started, you don't have to keep the pressure on it anymore. Unscrew it to the point where the threads are exposed. Take a larger screwdriver and let's unscrew it all the way. Okay, so that's all the way unscrewed now. We can take the insert, place it in just like a CO2 capsule so that it fits in there nicely. Make sure that rubber seal is there. And take this and screw it back in. You don't need it to be crazy tight, but you need it to be aligned properly. You need it to be just tight enough so that you've got a good seal. But if you tighten it too much, you can actually have problems with the by damaging the actual seal inside the gun. So a little bit of trial and error here till we get it just right. And I like to, you want to make sure everything is still aligned. Let's see if this will, if we can get this to work. There you go. Okay. That way everything is still aligned. You want to make sure that you've got a good, thorough alignment going through this. Let's go ahead and let's tighten this up again. Now this is optional. Some hold it centered a little bit better, but this gun might have some alignment issues because you do have some free play in there. So on the TAC6, like I said, I like to insert that. According to the directions, now you want to, let me see, put a drop of air gun oil to the inner thread of, oh, we skipped a step. We got to put the plumber's tape on. Okay. Just take your Teflon plumber's tape. It says to take about 3 inches. This will vary depending on your gun. Thankfully, plumber's tape is cheap. So you can do a little bit of trial and error here. What you want to do, you want to wrap it around these threads, which is on this gun a little bit tricky because they are kind of set in there. You need to make sure that you're not blocking the thread hole, because that will obviously cause its own problems. When doing thread tape, the direction that you wrap it is kind of critically important, because if you wrap it the wrong way, it'll just unwrap itself when you screw it onto the gun. That is the ugliest tape application I've ever done, but it should still work. And after all that talk of making sure you're doing it the right way, I put it on the wrong way. This is why I don't do live. Did I put it on the wrong way? No, I put it on the right way. What the hell am I talking about? Okay, it's got plumber's tape on there. Take this adapter, I'll put a drop of oil on the inner threads. Again, I like using my murder oil because that stuff's good. Go ahead and let's screw that on. Might have put a little bit too much plumber's tape on that. So I use 7/16 wrench, which of course I don't have one handy, so we're just going to use one of these adjustable wrenches. The TAC6, you don't have a hell of a lot of space to wrench on this thing anyway, so it up. It'd be much easier if I had a deep 7/16 inch socket, but alas, today I do not have one. Okay, that should be on there tightened enough. Everything looks like it's lined up pretty well. And close that up, and now after of course we test it out, we're going to hook it up to some CO2, make sure we don't have any leaks. Your ASG TAC6 is set up for either HPA or CO2 using a remote line. Now this is something that you can do. This kit is compatible with a huge range of other CO2 powered guns, and we'll do another install a little bit later using a CO2 revolver to show the changes you have to do. But just a quick example of that, and as you can see, using the stick mags, you still have full functionality. And let's go ahead, let's hook this up to a CO2 source and see how it shoots. So as you can see, using unregulated CO2, the performance is pretty much the same as it was using the little CO2 capsules. The main difference being your shot-to-shot consistency generally is going to be a little bit better, given that you have a larger tank that you're pulling from, and you're not going to have to replace those little 12-gram CO2 capsules all the time. Now, the big difference is going to be when we put this thing on HPA. I do not currently have an HPA rig, however, I am looking at getting one in the near future, so we're going to be able to do a test using HPA to adjust the velocity on this, particularly to adjust the velocity down. If you recall, I really like the TAC6 and I think it could be a very cool little platform. However, it shoots too hot, doesn't have a hop up at all. So we're going to take care of the first step first, which is to get it shooting less hot. So let's see, once we get an HPA set up, let's get that just basically plugged in here. Easy piece of cake to get it in there. And let's see how it shoots with HPA. Let's see if we can find a pressure using HPA that'll give us kind of a sweet spot velocity-wise. The next step will still be to get a hop-up in here, and I have a few things sketched out for a rudimentary hop-up. We'll see what ends up working once I actually get this thing opened up and installed. Many thanks to Advanced Novelty Tech for sending over this kit as well as this Ninja remote line to get this tested out. We're going to be testing this kit out in a few other guns as well, a few other CO2 guns to see how it works. Be sure to check out all of my reviews, of course, on Booligan Airsoft and Airsoft Retreat. This kit will be available soon at evike.com. Price, I don't have the exact pricing yet, but it should be around $59 or so for this first batch coming out at Evike. So be sure to check it out if you're interested in converting your CO2 gun either to HPA or to run an external CO2 line. Thanks for watching.